On the 12th of May 1666, at around noon, inside the magnificent Diwani arm of Agra, the capital of the Mughal Empire, a moment was unfolding that would eventually change the course of Indian history. Surrounded by towering red sandstone walls adorned with gold inlay and intricate carvings, Emperor Aurangzeb sat upon the peacock throne, his eyes carrying the cold, calculating gaze that could unsettle anyone who met it. At that very moment, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the founder of the Maratha Empire, entered the imperial court accompanied by his 9-year-old son Sambhaji, having arrived in Agra under the assurance of Rajaram Singh I of Amber. This meeting was the outcome of the treaty signed a few months earlier on the plains of Purandar, where, under pressure from the Mughal commander Mirza Rajajai Singhai, Shivaji Maharaj had agreed to hand over 23 of his forts to the Mughals and personally visit Aurangzeb in Agra. He had been assured that he would be treated with honor, that a warrior of his stature would receive the respect he deserved. But the moment he stepped into the royal court, he realized that something was terribly wrong. Among the hundreds of Mansabdars, nobles, and commanders gathered in the court, Shivaji Maharaj was deliberately placed in the third row alongside ordinary Mansabdars, while several nobles of far lower rank stood ahead of him in positions of honor. The insult was so obvious and so severe that every eye in the court turned towards Shivaji Maharaj, waiting to see how he would respond. A man who had never bowed before anyone in his life, who had shaken both the mighty Bijapur Sultanate and the Mughal Empire through his brilliant guerrilla warfare, suddenly found himself trapped inside a carefully designed cage. Anger was clearly visible on his face. His fists tightened. Then, in the middle of the imperial court, he turned around and walked away with firm steps, without bowing to the emperor, without observing a single courtly formality. The sight stunned the entire Mughal court. No one had ever imagined such open defiance in the presence of the emperor. Aurangzeb, known for his patience and political cunning, remained silent. But deep inside, he realized that this Maratha leader would never submit so easily. As soon as Shivaji Maharaj stepped out of the court, he collapsed unconscious, creating panic among those present. Many historians believe that this collapse was at least partly intentional, buying him both valuable time and sympathy for the strategy that was about to unfold. Immediately after the incident, Aurangzeb ordered Shivaji Maharaj to be placed under house arrest. He and his son were confined to a heavily guarded mansion near Jaipur Bhavan, surrounded by Mughal soldiers. Every gate, every entrance, and every window was placed under constant watch. It was at that moment that Shivaji Maharaj understood the truth. He had not been invited to a ceremony of honor. He had walked into a carefully planned trap. More importantly, he realized that Aurangzeb had no intention of allowing him to return home alive. Through Agra's network of spies, reports also spread that Aurangzeb had discussed with his trusted advisors how to permanently eliminate the Maratha leader. According to some accounts, he intended to imprison Shivaji Maharaj and send him to Kabul. Others claimed that even plans for his assassination were being whispered through the corridors of the Mughal court. Faced with such a deadly situation, Shivaji Maharaj displayed extraordinary patience and intelligence. He gradually began pretending to be seriously ill. Day after day, his health appeared to worsen. Physicians were summoned to examine him. At the same time, he spread the word that, in accordance with religious tradition, he was distributing baskets of sweets and fruits to Brahmins and holy men, praying for recovery and good health. In the beginning, every basket was thoroughly inspected. Mughal guards opened each one, even piercing them with spears before allowing them to leave. But as the days passed and the same routine continued without interruption, the soldiers slowly became less vigilant. This was precisely the psychological trap Shivaji Maharaj had intended to create. Meanwhile, his trusted companion and loyal commander Hiroji Farzan disguised himself as Shivaji Maharaj and remained lying in bed, pretending to be the sick king. His presence ensured that the guards continued believing Shivaji Maharaj was still inside the mansion. Then came the decisive evening of the 17th of August 1666. As the sun disappeared below the horizon and darkness slowly spread across the streets of Agra, Shivaji Maharaj carefully placed his young son Sambhaji inside a large basket. He himself hid inside another massive basket, both concealed beneath layers of sweets and fruits. It was the moment when one of the boldest and most ingenious escape plans in Indian history reached its climax. The men carrying the baskets were, in reality, Shivaji Maharaj's own trusted and well-trained followers. Calmly and confidently, They lifted the baskets onto their shoulders and walked toward the main gate of the mansion. As usual, the Mughal guards glanced at the baskets. A few casually checked the contents by hand. But weeks of routine, combined with the complete trust Shivaji Maharaj had carefully built, allowed the baskets to pass without serious inspection. Inside the basket, Shivaji Maharaj sat silently, his heart pounding. Every sound, every footstep reminded him that only a thin line separated freedom from death. After crossing the gate, the baskets were carried through the narrow streets of Agra toward the outskirts of the city, where horses and loyal companions had already been arranged. The moment he stepped out of the basket, Shivaji Maharaj abandoned his royal appearance and disguised himself as a wandering Hindu ascetic. Sacred ash covered his forehead, saffron robes draped his body, and a trident rested in his hand, making him appear to be nothing more than a traveling holy man. Back in Agra, Hiroji Farzand continued playing the role of the Sikh Shivaji Maharaj with such remarkable perfection that the Mughal guards remained completely unaware for several days that the real Shivaji Maharaj had already escaped the city. By the time the truth was finally discovered, Shivaji Maharaj had travelled hundreds of miles. Sometimes dressed as a holy man, sometimes riding swiftly under the cover of darkness, he moved through Mathura, Allahabad and Varanasi, constantly changing his disguise. At times appearing as a Brahmin, at others as a wandering fakir, to avoid Mughal search parties. When Aurangzeb finally learned that Shivaji Maharaj had escaped from Agra, silence swept across the imperial court. The emperor's face burned with rage. Orders were immediately issued to dispatch troops in every direction. Every road, every inn, and every river crossing was placed under strict surveillance. But by then, Shivaji Maharaj had already moved far beyond the reach of the Mughal Empire through his unmatched courage, intelligence, and strategic brilliance. This escape was not merely the survival of one man. It was the survival of an idea, the dream of Swarajya, a vision that Shivaji Maharaj had built through years of sacrifice, warfare, and determination. When he finally returned safely to the land of Maharashtra, joy spread throughout the Maratha kingdom. The event became a legendary tale passed down from one generation to the next. A story where intelligence defeated brute force, patience overcame imperial arrogance, and the desire for freedom outmatched the security of the most powerful empire of its time. The escape taught Aurangzeb a lesson he would never forget. The Maratha leader he had dismissed as an ordinary rebel was, in reality, an extraordinary strategist whose intellect was sharper than any sword. In the years that followed, Shivaji Maharaj emerged as the Mughal Empire's greatest challenge. He would later be crowned Chhatrapati, establishing an independent Maratha empire whose legacy continues to echo through Indian history even today. That dark evening in Agra, those baskets filled with sweets, and that daring escape remain among the most thrilling and inspiring chapters in India's past. A timeless reminder that true courage is not measured only by the sword on the battlefield, but by the ability to remain calm, think clearly, and make the right decision even in the face of certain danger.